When we are tasting, we're not eating like you're eating. We're smelling it, we're tasting it, we're testing the texture, we're testing the flavours.
Do you ever finish the plate?
That's when you know you've got an absolutely cracker of a dish.
Take us from food to Masterchef.
There is no TV presenter that ever meant to be there because there is no educational route you can take. Everybody's there by accident. Do you know, I still get criticism. People go, well, what's he doing on there? He's not even a chef.
What's your experience of running your own restaurants?
Yeah, I did it twice. I didn't make any money out of them. I lost money. You either learn through business in two expensive ways. You either pay people to teach you or you find out yourself through mistakes. Takeaways, snacking, and fast food and processed food. And it's having such an impact on our health that the NHS is creaking under the strain of it.
What would you perceive as your biggest mistake?
Marriages. I've been married 4 times, and the emotional cost and the financial cost is just enormous.
In this episode, MasterChef legend Gregg Wallace of 20 years opens up about his life and his career in TV. We talk about the cutthroat business of being a chef, why Gregg waited until his 50s to look after his health, and his multiple divorces. If you want me to cook up more celebrity chefs on this show, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on.
Greg, what's the secret sauce to MasterChef's enduring success?
Oh, it's made by very, very good TV makers. Very, very good TV makers. It covers a subject that everybody's interested in, and that's what we eat. Everybody's interested. I don't believe there are foodies and non-foodies. You show me someone that has no interest in food, I'll show you a corpse. Everybody has an interest in food. Their knowledge might not be huge, but even somebody that lives on burgers can tell you which ones they prefer. So which ones, everybody has got an interest in food. But the clever thing about MasterChef is I don't think you're actually really watching food, you're watching people on a journey. Food is just the river they're floating down. You get into the characters. You either love them or you don't like them. There's people you really don't like, but you get into those characters. And if you watch how well it's made, there are little outcomes that you want to know, that you want to find out throughout. How they're going to get on cooking that? How they're going to get on with the restaurant? You need to know there are going to be little outcomes throughout the show. And also consider this, right? There could be 30 episodes in a MasterChef series. They all work alone as standalone programs.
Right.
You don't have to invest in a whole series.
Yeah.
You can pick up one episode and it will make sense from start to finish. Very clever TV makers.
Because my wife and I love to watch MasterChef, and they're all the same.
Yeah, good question. Well, it's not a question, an observation, but you're absolutely right. I love playing backgammon. Do you play backgammon?
No.
Okay. You've got points, spikes across a board. So it's a board that opens up, folds in the middle.
Yeah.
And you've got spikes in quarters. And you've got the same number of pieces. And you've got 2 dice. I've never tired of playing it in 50 years.
Right.
Because with the dice and with those pieces, you never get the same outcome twice. And that is the same as MasterChef. You've got a kitchen, you've got cookery utensils, you've got equipment, you've got contestants. And those contestants change and that's what makes it very, very different. The ingredients, of course, are going to be slightly different, but it's the people themselves that make it different. You could say the same about a football match or a rugby match.
Yeah, true.
Or even a boxing match, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I watched this boxing match and it was exactly the same. There were 2 people in a ring punching each other. I watched it again next week and it was exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And so you still get as excited about filming MasterChef now as... How long have you been doing it?
20 years. I love it. But not so much just get excited. I'm really happy and comfortable in that work environment. Now you consider doing a job for 20 years, right? I'm now being directed by people that once made the breakfast and got the toast for the crew. I'm now being filmed.
That was what you did initially?
No.
Oh.
That's who are directing me.
Right.
The people that are directing me 20 years.
Oh, I see, because they've come up through a whole career, one whole generation in a career.
Yeah, the camera crews now, the really talented camera crew.
They were runners 20 years ago for you.
They were runners, they were assistants.
Right.
So all of these young people I knew as kids are now running this program.
Wow.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a really great place to work. It's a great environment to work in.
Did you ever think in the 20 years, or it's run its course?
No, because the viewing figures kept holding up.
Right.
They just kept holding up and holding up and holding. There seems to be no lack of appetite for it.
Yeah.
I've never once thought, well, maybe it'll end.
Yeah. And what about, did it change with lockdown and now with food prices like they are and everything like that?
We don't touch on social issues of the day. If you think Masterchef is celebratory food, it's not everyday food.
Yeah.
It's celebratory dinner party food.
So you've never once addressed the cost of food?
No.
Because it is fucking expensive now, isn't it?
We have a cost of living issue, major issue. But no, we haven't. During lockdown, it was difficult. We carried on filming. We had the floor manager, Sam Carpenter, walking around with a 6-foot stick, making sure that none of us got within 6 feet of each other. There's a couple of good things that came out of that, right? One, two major things. One is we now each have our own dressing rooms where we used to share.
Yeah.
And the other one, the really positive one, is the contestants now have to make the judges a plate each, where we used to eat off the same plate.
Right.
And then since
So you've done all right since changing lockdown.
we now get a plate each.
Yeah. And I'm always fascinated by, you get presented the food, and then that is you're trying it. Is it still warm? How does it stay warm?
That's the second most asked Masterchef question.
Oh, there you go.
The second most asked Masterchef question. And the food isn't cold. To make the food cold, you'd have to refrigerate it. So it sits there while the cameramen get close-ups.
Yeah.
And then it goes from hot to room temperature.
Right.
And that's where it stays, at room temperature. And that room temperature is the same temperature as any plate of food you've ever finished.
Right.
You don't actually eat hot food, you just think you do. Virtually all the food you eat is room temperature. No chef is going to send you out a red hot dish. You just think you eat hot food.
Yeah.
You don't. You couldn't taste it if it was hot.
Right.
So consider the next time you have a Sunday roast,
Yeah.
I want you to touch the plate.
Yeah.
Could you hold a roast potato in your hand as you're finishing your dish? Yes, you can.
Right.
It's not hot, is it?
No.
No.
No. Right. But it is, for you as the chief taster, is there an optimum time to do your taste as the food comes out? You're not both rushing to... No.
The other, if there's a souffle, it's got to get eaten quick.
Yeah.
It's got to get eaten quick before it collapses. But also, when we are tasting, we're not eating like you're eating. You're eating a meal. We're not. We're smelling it. We're tasting it. We're testing the texture. We're testing the flavours. That's not going to change. We're not eating a meal. We're just tasting. We're looking at it. We're marking it mentally for its appearance. And then we're just tasting.
Yeah.
Which is different to eating. It's a difference between tasting wine and...
Yeah, but you spit wine out, don't you?
Yeah. You don't have to. You don't have to. But remember, we're just tasting.
Yeah.
So it's not going to make any difference to us. We're not eating a meal. Because people also say to me, well, it's not fair for the one who goes last. I go, why not? They go, well, you're not hungry. I go, I wasn't hungry when I started.
Yeah.
I'm tasting. I'm not eating.
Right. So do you ever finish the plate?
If that's when you know you've got...
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you stop tasting and you start eating,
Yeah.
then you know you've got an absolutely cracker of a dish.
Right.
Yeah, you forget. You forget you're supposed to be tasting. You just eat it.
Yeah.
The biggest cause of cancer in the country, tobacco. The second, obesity.
God, how much must that be costing the NHS?
Heart disease, knee operation, hip operation.
Right, yeah.
Mate, it doesn't stop. It goes on and on.
Hi, it's Rob Moore here, and a quick shout out to the proud owner of this episode, an NFT holder of mine who runs PPN, Progressive Property Network Oxford, bought an NFT and owns this episode. If you'd like to invest in property, get into property, network with other property investors, you need to get to PPN, Progressive Property Network Oxford. And you know what? Oxford, full of rich people. You want to get there now, go to Progressive Property Network Oxford.
And what to you makes the perfect dish?
It'd have to be something that you yourself are personally into.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be a bit of roast lamb and mint sauce,
Right.
or it would be a fine dessert.
Yeah, well, you are
Yeah.
renowned for your sweet tooth, aren't you?
I mean, I was a child of the 60s and 70s, so anything brown, wet, and sticky, like, just, I'm into it in a big way. Brown and wet, and you must be able to eat it with a spoon.
Right. Yeah. So that would be what? Sticky toffee pudding?
Sticky toffee pudding's right up there.
Yeah.
I have a real soft spot for butterscotch angel delight.
Right. Wow, yeah.
Anything creamy, caramel, vanilla, chocolate, coffee, all the brown flavours.
Yeah.
All the brown flavours.
Although you took white sugar.
There's lots of stories about white sugar. Stories about brown sugar, demerara.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
You're not sorry though, are you?
No.
Like when we met for lunch, you must have cracked about 30 jokes.
Yeah.
That really like struck me. And they were all dad jokes.
All of them clean.
Yeah, yes.
None of them sexual, none of them political.
Yeah.
All stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All really
dad
silly,
jokes.
all really silly dad jokes. Yeah. I just like that. I like that stuff. Well, when I met you, I was quite like excitable as well, and I think it's almost like a nervous thing. But also, I do it when I'm filming, and people that have worked with me for a while, they know I do it. But it makes, for me, it energizes a room.
Yeah.
It makes a room fun, and it also keeps my brain active.
Yeah.
And keeps me energised. You know, you don't want to be making telly in a slow. You want to bring some energy to it.
Yeah.
And that just cracking silly gags, and also, John Turone knows me really well. He go, where are you going with this? Because these play on words that I just love.
Yeah.
And some of it you can use. Some of it stays in the show. Most of it you can't use. But I can't help it. I just start playing around with words and sounds.
Yeah, it struck me. I would say you're one of the most enthusiastic people I've ever met.
Yeah.
How do you stay so, let's be honest, the world is not great for some people and people have got their own challenges and, the cost of living and lockdown crisis. Yet you're so enthusiastic. How do you maintain that?
The difference between happy and unhappy is simply what you tell yourself. Simple as that.
So what do you tell yourself then?
That there are goals that I want to achieve and to keep on pushing to achieve them. And also, if you've agreed to do a job or agreed to be a guest on somebody's show or turning up at a TV studio to do a job, if you find you don't like it, don't do it again. But don't play up while you're doing it.
Mm.
If you're going to do a job, do it to the best of your ability with the most energy, positive energy you can.
Mm.
Don't play up during it. Keep your reputation intact. Just don't do it again.
Yeah.
So I always go into every job with a great deal of enthusiasm.
Mm. So how'd you get into cooking?
Cooking or telly? Cooking.
Yeah. Well, let's go as far back as you can remember and take us through.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, you're going to sit down with someone who works in telly?
I'm ready.
Who's already?
We've booked this out for the whole day.
All right. Somebody who's already self-obsessed because they trade in themselves as a commodity.
Yes.
Yeah. And then ask them the story. They're like, I work with a director, a guy called Michael, and he said, if a TV presenter isn't talking about themselves within 10 minutes, they're not a very good TV presenter.
Right.
That's what he said to
Yeah.
me. And he's a good director. Right. So, food, an understanding of finer food. I'm not going to say an enjoyment of food because I believe everybody has an enjoyment of food. But a wider interest in food didn't come to me till quite late in life, till I started supplying fruit and veg to restaurants.
And that was what age, roughly?
I'm mid-20s.
And you are now roughly?
I'm 58 now. So mid-20s. So I wasn't brought up with interesting food.
Yeah.
I wasn't brought up with fine food. Brought up with quite basic foods. But when I started supplying fruit and veg to hotels and restaurants, I started seeing plates of food that fascinated me, that just looked beautiful. absolutely beautiful. Then when I made enough money that I could start eating out in those restaurants, and I was just blown away by how beautiful these dishes were and how amazing they tasted. And then of course you start to try to recreate those dishes yourself at home. But also the environment that I grew up in, a night out was the Old Kent Road on a Saturday night. And then to find a whole new environment of going out, which was just about eating and drinking in a really pleasant manner that wasn't in any way aggressive or over masculine. And other people, especially because I was a single guy, especially girlfriends, seemed to enjoy much more than a disco. I like this whole world just opened up to me and just absolutely fascinated me. I mean, I made a point over about 3 or 4 years to, if there was something on a menu that I'd never seen before, to order it.
Yeah.
I mean, there I was. I went straight from kind of fish fingers and oven chips to caviar and lobster, like just overnight. Overnight. It was just phenomenal. So that's when I started taking an interest in food.
Okay, and then take us from food to Masterchef.
Yeah. Okay, it's an easy route to follow. The thing to bear in mind here before I start is to point out that there is no TV presenter that ever meant to be there. And when you consider that, everything else seems to fit, because there is no educational route you can take. If I was sitting here in front of you now as a 15-year-old saying I want to be a TV presenter, there is no educational route that I can take into it. I can go...
Can't be media or something like that at university.
Yeah, and you'll end up as a director or a cameraman.
Right.
But you'll learn the technical side of television.
Right.
You won't learn the craft of TV presenting.
No.
Everybody's there by accident. So Jamie Oliver, never ever meant to be there. John Turode, I know, never meant to be there. My mate Marcus Waring, never meant to be there. Monica, never meant to be there. Michelle Roux, never meant to be there. None of these people ever meant. It all happens to us by accident.
So where did you mean to be?
No, just out of the council estate in South East London. That's where I meant to be.
Yeah.
So with me, I was supplying hotels and restaurants with fruit and veg. And I've always told people I'm a greengrocer, but I don't ever want to mislead people. I never ever had a stall.
Right.
I was always running trucks and vans out of Covent Garden Market. So
What's the difference in that and a stall?
A stall, you're interacting with the public.
Right.
You're taking cash.
Yeah.
With me, you're giving credit and you're dealing with chefs.
Right.
You're not dealing with the public. No one's coming into your...
Was that intentional or just situational?
No, that I got a job inside Covent Garden Market, and that's what Covent Garden Market was doing.
Yeah.
There was half of it was supplying the catering industry, and that's what I got into, supplying the catering industry.
Yeah.
So I'm not dealing with the public. I'm going straight into chefs' kitchens.
Yeah.
And I was really good at it. And I supplied probably most of the better restaurants and hotels in London over like a 15-year period.
Wow.
I was really good at it. I mean, we were running something like 15, 16 trucks out of Covent Garden Market every morning. I was supplying something like 200-300 restaurants daily. Wow. And eating out as well. Yeah. So I'm seeing all the food trends as they're happening. Right. And we're talking about now 25, 26 years ago. I was hearing local and seasonal. It was this Calitao thing, Californian Italian. It was coming from the States. The French Laundry, one of the restaurants, and it was making waves. So everything before had been fancy and French, and all of a sudden it's becoming more Italian way of, which is actually my favourite food still. And there was an emphasis on the produce. So local and seasonal, I kept hearing. So now I'm importing from Italy, I'm importing from France, we're even importing from Thailand. And I thought, right, if this is going to go local and seasonal, how am I going to do this? So I started speaking to growers in the home counties about growing stuff for me so I could send into the restaurants. So it was coming straight from the land to the restaurants. And there's a trade magazine called The Hotel and Caterer, and they did an article on me and my work with these, with these growers. The freelance journalist who did the article did freelance work for Radio 4's food programme. Went back to see Sheila Dillon, who run the food programme on Radio 4, and said, you've got to come and meet this greengrocer. He sounds like a typical barrow boy, but this guy is really passionate and really knows his stuff. Yeah. So they phoned me up and said, we want to do a program with you, a Radio 4 food program.
And in your opinion, the most overrated?
Well, funny enough, I'm a big fan of Delia, but Delia's never run a kitchen in her life. So Delia's not a chef. Nigella's not a chef. So people think they're chefs.
Right.
The hairy bikers aren't chefs. They cook on television, but they've never run a kitchen.
If you join Rob.team right now, you can claim not one, but 2 special bonuses. Number 1 is my 8-week Money Mastermind University, what they should be teaching you in schools about money, but are not. And I've got 2 special tickets to the Money Maker Summit, the best business opportunities for recurring and passive income. Go right now to rob.team, rob.team for this special offer.
We want to follow you from having the vegetables grown to your wholesale business, and then finally out to one of the restaurants that you supply, and we can follow the whole chain. It's like, right, I pulled my posh mate in, Charlie Hicks, who was a public school boy. I thought he's more of a voice of Radio 4 than me, and we did this show together. They phoned us up and said, we've just had one of the biggest mailbags we've had in years. We need to talk to you two. We'd like to give you your own radio show.
Wow.
That was a show called Veg Talk.
Yeah.
That ran for 6 years, a live phone in, and then the TV came sniffing round.
Right.
I was the first presenter of Saturday Kitchen. And then my agent said to me, get down to this company called Shine. I don't know what they're doing, but they're making a big food show. They're waiting to see you. I've set up an appointment for you. I went down there. There was a lady called Karen Ross, who turned out to be my boss on Masterchef for over 10 years, who sat there like you, with a camera there like that. And she said to me, talk to me about food. And I said, anything you like? She went, anything you like. And I spoke for about 45 minutes without stopping. She said, right, I've got a job for you. I'm going to be remaking Masterchef.
Wow.
She said, I've been looking for somebody for over a year. I want you. She said, I'll start filming in 6 weeks and it's going to be a 3-month thing. Can you do it? I was like, yeah. And that was it.
And what do you think she saw in you?
I think at the time, Jamie was hot news. The world of food was going from posh.
Jamie Oliver, you mean?
Jamie Oliver.
Yeah.
The world of food was going from posh to more blue collar because of him. And I think Karen Ross, who's also always been socially minded, wanted to move what was Masterchef used to be a Sunday afternoon with Mrs. Corby Trouser Press, who used to do dinner party food. And I think she wanted to make it more relevant. So she was very brave. She took 2 obvious blue collar boys. She took John Turode and me and tried to make it more real. And she was right, right?
Yeah.
Obviously she was right. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's what she was looking for. So she had a chef in John Turode, and she wanted someone who wasn't a chef, and that was me. Do you know, I still get criticism right now, right? People go, well, what's he doing on there? He's not even a chef. How can he be a judge? Imagine doing a job for 20 years.
And people still criticise on that.
Still questioning whether you're qualified to do. Imagine never ever getting any plumbing qualifications, but be fitting bathrooms for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then someone would come along and go, well, you shouldn't be doing it. You're not qualified. It always. But they never ever ask that of the restaurant critics.
Right.
It always. I wonder.
Well, they just assume that they're.
Well, no one ever says what are the restaurant critics doing there. They're not chefs.
Yes.
Yeah. But they say, what's Gregg Wallace doing there if he's not a chef? It's quite interesting actually. But then, you know, art critics don't paint, right?
No.
And film critics don't make films.
Yeah. And what do you think because you said no one intends to be a presenter. What makes a great presenter?
Turn up on time and do as you're told, right? Don't let your ego get out of control. Do as you're told. It's not a big industry, it's a small industry.
Right.
Behave yourself.
And when you say do as you're told, you mean could you talk us through what you're told?
Oh, well no, I don't question what the director tells me. I don't say, well, why are we doing it like that?
Right.
I don't pretend to know how to make a TV programme.
No.
I've seen presenters who do.
Right.
Want to get involved in directing it. I don't want to direct it, I've got enough to think about.
Yeah.
Or moreover, I don't want to have a lot to think about. I just want to enjoy myself. So if the director asks you to do it a certain way, don't challenge it. Don't challenge. Just do what you're asked. Don't go, well, why are we doing that? And why don't we do it like this? And why don't do that? You're not the director. Support the director. You're not the one who's going to have to sit in the edit, putting the show together.
Yeah.
So just don't give people a tough time. Be pleasant and don't challenge the authority of the people who are making the show. Just be confident put yourself in their hands and just be confident that they are going to produce a good show and show you in the best light.
Yeah.
And I think that is it. Also with telepresenting, if you look at Masterchef, I'm not really the pudding taster. What I'm doing is getting the pudding maker to talk. What I'm doing is getting those contestants to talk to me and thereby talk to you watching. What I want, that's what I'm doing.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. This is a salesman's job, and I've always been a salesman. And people incorrectly say sales is the gift of the gab. No, it's the gift of the ear. This is where the joking and the laughing around
So
comes in.
you want their reaction to your reaction, is that what you mean?
I just want them to show me their passion, and whatever that may be. Is that anger, frustration, joy, and I want to know about them. Yes, you're cooking this, but why are you cooking this? Why do you love this? What do you want this outcome to be? What would be good for you? This is what I want. I want to know about them. Not how much salt are you going to put in there, not how long are you going to bake it for. We're talking about people here. This is what the success of the show, if you look at all the shows I've done, Inside the Factory, Eat Well for Less, Masterchefs, different guises, it's not about me, it's about the people. I'm just there to guide those people along. That's the job I'm doing. And you do that by making them comfortable and getting them to talk to you.
Right.
It's no good them just going, right, I'm going to make a raspberry crumble, I'm going to do it like this and do it like that, and do it like this, and 25, who wants to listen to that? But you would be interested and go, mate, everything right now depends on me getting this crumble out right now, and it's got to be A1. I want those judges, so absolutely, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Or mate, I'm terrified. I've never cooked for critics before in my life. I'm absolutely, that's what you want to hear, not I'm going to add a pinch of salt and bake it for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So my job is to just get them to tell me how they're feeling and why they're doing it.
And do any stories stand out? Can we have a couple?
Yeah, there was one girl, and she said, I've ended up to cook at university. I think she was 2 years into, I don't know, chemistry degree or whatever it was. And she said, and I've ended up to cook for all my friends, and I've built up a reputation as a bit of a cook. I said, I see, I understand. I said, so you've been cooking for 2 years at university? And she said, yeah. I said, so you're probably on here to find out just how good you really are. She went, no, actually, I just want to cook for somebody sober.
So she'd never cooked sober before?
All her mates were always drunk.
Oh, I see.
All her mates were always drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
And she did a good job?
Yeah. She did a good job. You know, you get people. It means a lot to them.
Yeah.
It means a lot. The one where it means the most to is the professionals.
Right.
I never cease to wonder at the courage of those professional chefs who come in. Amateurs are looking to change their lives, right? Celebrity version, yeah, okay, they've got a career. Those professionals, they are putting their reputation on the line when they walk into that Masterchef kitchen.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Yeah, because they don't have to do it, do they?
No.
It might be better for their career if they don't do it.
Exactly. I mean, the courage of these people is extraordinary, I think.
Yeah, and all the amateurs want to become a professional, do they? Is that?
Not all, no. I think if they wanted to be professional chefs, they would already be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they get the bug, and many of them go on to open restaurants. Lots of them go on to have catering businesses, so they'll do parties and stuff. Lots of them do that. Lots of them end up with career in food, but not necessarily chefs in a professional kitchen.
Right. And how did getting on MasterChef affect your day job? Ultimately, the fruit and veg business that got you there.
I had to pack it in.
Really?
Yeah, well, MasterChef now is 8 months of my life.
Wow.
You can't, it's very difficult to do another job.
Yeah.
Celebrity, amateurs and pros. It's over 8 months of my life every year for 20 years. It's very difficult to fit other telly in there.
Did that feel like a risk to you? Was there a point where it was like, that's a risk to let go of that business?
No. I just loved the telly.
Yeah.
I just embraced it. It was, I loved it. And it took off for me quite quickly. And other shows quickly followed. Other people wanted me to do other bits of telly as well quite quickly. and they still come in. Offers of telly still come in.
Have you been offered I'm a Celebrity, Strictly, all that?
I did Strictly.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, I did Strictly.
When did you do that?
Oh, God, 15 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I've never been offered Celebrity.
What?
I've never been offered as far as I know. I mean, my agent hasn't said we've had an offer for you.
But surely he would have told you, wouldn't he?
I think he'd have told me. I would do it. I mean, we've all got our price, right? Would you do it to be able to pay your mortgage off? Would you?
Would you?
Well, my mortgage is quite low now. I've been working hard and squirreling it away for the last few years. But no,
I am gobsmacked you've not been asked to do that.
Yeah.
Does that not damage one's ego a little bit?
Oh no! I don't think people at the top of their game tend to do it.
But wouldn't you even want to be asked though?
No, I don't mind. I've never considered. No, I've never considered. I think it's a platform for reinvigorating your career.
Right. Once it's sort of tailed off.
Yeah, maybe, and that time will come.
Yeah.
Most certainly that time will come. I mean, if you look at television now as well, it's in a state of transition, a real state of transition, because viewing figures are not what they were, not at all. But a lot more is being watched on catch up.
Yeah.
So television is changing, and look at the amount of stuff on social media. So every celebrity Masterchef, we get, well, who are these people? They're supposed to be celebrities. And if you look at the Strictly lineup, now what used to happen 10, 20 years ago, all of us only watched 4 channels. So the likelihood was that if anybody was appearing on those 4 channels regularly, we'd know who they were. Now we're watching 104 channels.
Yeah.
So it's now unlikely that the whole population will know who one person is, unless they are a Hollywood actor or an international musician. It's unlikely someone
But everyone knows you, don't they?
Well, maybe.
Because you've got the test of time, haven't you?
Well, I've also got a bald head and glasses, which is like, it's if I don't want to be recognised, I take my glasses off and put a hat on, and nobody recognises me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I started on telly 20 odd years ago.
But Masterchef is still going strong.
Yeah. It does really, really well. It doubles its figures. I think this is right. I might be wrong. On catch up later on.
Right.
As well. I think on downloads.
So what's your price for I'm a Celebrity then?
I don't know. No, I'd have to have a good long think about it.
Yeah,
and then I wouldn't publicise it because my agent might kick me and go, "Man, I could have got you more than that."
You're a pro. That was a very good answer. Have you run your own restaurants? So it looked like you've got, and we'd like to do our research, but I like to keep the questions open and not make assumptions. So what's your experience of running your own restaurants?
Yeah, I did it twice. I didn't make any money out of them twice. Once I lost money, and that was when I had a calf. And you learn lessons from stuff, right? I knew what I wanted. I wanted one up from a greasy spoon. I ended up with partners that wanted something far more middle class and more Ottolenghi-ish, which is not what I want. So we ended up with a hybrid thing that didn't work. And so I sold that. The other one was, I really like this, the Bermondsey Hotel. I just put my face and name and designed a menu in the hotel and used to turn up so many times a week. And they gave me a cut of the take.
All right.
Which was a really nice experiment, but they stopped that. We did that for about 18 months.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that because I didn't have any of my own money in it.
Right.
Always interests me in the UK with our attitude towards business and business failure. From what I can understand, in the States, it's expected that you'll make mistakes. Over here, people consider that you must be some sort of criminal. And I don't understand, being stupid is not a crime. Making mistakes is not a crime. If you look at business
Trying is not a crime.
No, if you look at business owners who've had businesses go under, they are normally the ones who have lost the most money. Yeah, but we still go, well, it's not fair, look at all the money he owes. Yes, we don't have debtors' prisons anymore.
No.
This is the whole point of limited companies.
Yes.
Limited liabilities.
Yes.
We're supposed to encourage entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We're not supposed to, when somebody goes bust, put them in a pillory and throw rotten apples at them or lock us in the debtors' prison.
But socially we do.
Socially we do.
Yeah.
Which is just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. Like, I mean, look, okay, there must be some dishonest people out there. There must be. But I don't believe that's true of the vast majority of people that find themselves in business trouble. I really don't. I really don't. They got it wrong. They tried. They tried and got it wrong. And how are you supposed to ever get it right if you don't get it wrong?
Yeah.
And you go, well, you owe people money. Yeah. Well, those people could have insured their debts.
Yeah.
You know, there are ways around. But what are we saying now? That if you go bust owing money, you should owe it personally? No one would ever start a business. No, they wouldn't. I get a little bit angry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had 3 rugby clubs. I'm a very passionate rugby fan. We've had 3 rugby clubs disappear this year.
Which ones?
Wasps, my team.
Shit, yeah.
Worcester Warriors.
Yeah.
And London Irish. And there's all sorts of clubs. Well, they obviously dishonest people. How do we know that?
Yeah.
What makes you think that? Have the people who own those clubs walked away with a huge bank account in the Bahamas? Or did
or
they
is
lose?
it just hard to run a rugby club?
Or have they lost money as well?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, definitely seems to be a different attitude in America, whereby you're more celebrated. Definitely when you're actually more investable if you've already lost money.
Because you've learned.
Yeah, probably.
Because you've learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 You learn very, very quickly. But maybe you have to make those mistakes. Unless you are born into a world where you can get entrepreneurial and accounting advice free of charge, you either learn through business in 2 expensive ways. You either pay people to teach you, or you find out yourself through mistakes.
Yeah.
Those 2 ways. If you are very fortunate and you've got people around you that can show you free of charge, you are fortunate. In fact, moving on to another, this is the importance of mentors.
Well, that's how I got
reached out to you.
connected.
I wanted you to teach me things.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Mentors are huge. It's huge. Everybody should tap into mentors.
Yeah, that's again something that's probably not taught that well in the UK. Find someone who's already done it and go learn from them. Isn't it ironic that we'll put ourselves £50,000 plus in debt to learn from some tutors who are maybe more theoretical than practical, yet we either wouldn't think of, aren't taught to go and approach someone who's been in business, like the person that connected us together, who's been in business for decades.
Mike Green, who's been a mentor of mine for 15 years. Yeah, I'm fortunate because I'm on the telly, people will take my call.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in people on the telly. I'm really, really fortunate. But if I've actually leveraged that at all, it's been to collect mentors. What I do now, anybody that's got information, knowledge that I haven't got, or influence, or understands things I don't do, I never lose contact with them. So Rob, you're a successful man. You'll get a message from me at least 4 or 5 times a year. How you doing, mate? Because I don't want to lose contact with you. Then when I've got a particular issue, not necessarily a problem, but an issue, things that I want to learn about, I go through my phone and I pick out the people I think can help me. I make a list of them, put them on a to-do list, and I just phone them up. Mate, can you help me out?
Yeah.
Have you got 10 minutes to have a pot of coffee? I want to ask you. Nobody minds.
No.
In fact, I think they're flattered.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, all right then. Collect mentor. I saw a brilliant thing the other day, right? Come up on Instagram. If you hang around constantly with 3 millionaires, you'll be the 4th. Right? If you hang around with 3 idiots long enough, you'll be the 4th.
You have a very entrepreneurial outlook.
Can I quote Mike Green again?
Yeah, please, go on.
Yeah, entrepreneurs. He went, the brilliant thing about entrepreneurs is they see opportunity everywhere. The bad thing about entrepreneurs is they see opportunity everywhere. Yeah, no, I do have an entrepreneurial outlook. And do you know what?
Where do you think that came from?
Necessity, a fear of poverty.
Right, yeah.
A fear of poverty, an absolute necessity. No qualifications. What are you going to do? Got to make a living, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to stay in a council house? Or are you going to give it a go?
Yeah.
And what it has taught me is that I can give it a go. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You can give it a go.
Yeah.
There isn't anything that you can't do. Is it the right thing? I don't know, but give it a go. I mean, just you can get on. You can get on. When you have setbacks, and we've all had ups and downs. I've I've had plenty of ups and downs. The biggest worry when it's going wrong is the fear of losing things. Oh, what about my house? What about my car? What about the holidays? What about all the trappings? What about them? And that's what you lose sleep over. How are people going to perceive me? What's my wife going to think?
That one.
Yeah.
What are people going to think about me? I think that's a big one in the UK.
Yeah, what people are going to think about how... then that's your fear.
Yeah.
Nothing physical, that's your fear. Once you've lost everything, let me tell you, it's like it's like a burden's been lifted from your shoulders. Because that was your fear, losing things. When they're gone, you suddenly, you don't sit there and cry, do you? Over like what you go, okay. And what you've got, again, is your balls and a big sackload of experience. And you go off again. It's just like you've been pruned.
Yeah.
You just come back stronger.
So should everyone lose everything once in their life?
No.
See, this is a good paradox. My biggest fear is going bust. I wouldn't want my wife to cheat on me, obviously, health-wise, but generally my biggest commercial fear is going bust. And I sometimes think, I might actually be a better entrepreneur if I do, because I might have lessons, like you said, about knowing how resourceful I can be and knowing what I'm made of. But I don't want to.
No, don't do that.
No.
Yeah, don't. I think this is the same story, isn't it? About as well the heavyweight boxer who's in a freezing, rat-infested gym, sparring with people just out of prison, and he's got a hunger, right? He's got a hunger. He wants to be world champion. 3 successful title defences in his penthouse.
Yes. Yeah. Not so hungry anymore.
Not so hungry anymore.
Yeah.
You know, how do you keep that, or even should you keep that hunger going?
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to achieve? I think, I've just been on holiday, and I normally work on holiday. I normally negotiate with my wife, and I say, can I work for this longer day? And we were chatting. And I said, I think in order to be happy, I actually need to work, even on holiday. I need to, that's what motivates me. That's what I like to, without it, I'm just edgy. I need to do stuff. I need to feel like I'm...
And how do you negotiate that with her?
Oh, she's quite a pushover. She's quite a pushover. But she will say, look, you don't want to go like, you don't want to end up just like doing your normal day job just in a different, warmer environment, do you? You know, and I go, right, okay, what about if I do my gym, okay, and I work up till 11 o'clock? Okay, the morning's mine.
Yeah. Then
Then after that, me, you, lunch, the rest of the afternoon and the evening. And she's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, do that. I go, and then I'll slip my reading time in. I'll get ready before you in the evening. While you're getting ready, I'll slip my 30 minutes a day reading.
What sort of stuff do you read?
I'm a massive history buff.
Okay.
So I read a lot of history, historical reference books. You learn a lot about business from history as well. And I read self-help books. And again, I indulge with a bit of fiction. And I really, really enjoy fiction, but I don't normally buy it unless somebody recommends it to me. Can I tell you a story about the Roman Empire and business? Right?
Yes, please.
You know you've got a square mile in the city of London?
Yes.
There were square miles all over the Mediterranean. All over, I mean, I know Britain's not the Mediterranean, but part of the Roman Empire, if you look at it, went around the Mediterranean and Britain. There were square miles everywhere, right? And what they would do is, as soon as they camped, they would fortify it. And if they were going to stay there, they fortified a square mile. First off with wooden walls, and then if they were going to be really permanent, stone walls. Inside that square mile, they could raise crops, rear beasts, and train troops. They were completely and utterly safe within this square mile. They could stay there indefinitely, generation after generation. And they wouldn't attack anywhere until they had a well-defended base. Only ever attack from a well-defended position. If you're going to go out there in business and you're risking, do not risk the base. What is the base? Where is your safe place? What can't be risked? Only ever attack from a well-defended position. How about that?
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. So what would be the base? The mortgage,
Your
maybe?
home, your home, your family,
Yeah.
your ability to pay your bills, pay a little bit into your pension pot, your retirement. What does your life look like?
Yeah.
Don't risk that.
Yeah.
That's got to be your home.
Yeah, because in America they say go all in. What do you think about that?
I think it depends what age you are.
Yeah.
And how much all in is. If all in is you're renting a bed sit in downtown Brooklyn, yeah, go all in. If you're looking at a 8-bedroom, 6-acre property in Long Island, don't go all in.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah. We'll call it the Rob and Gregg all-in scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I like that. But I do sometimes think about that because I've been an entrepreneur now for nearly 20 years. And I think I could have taken more risks and put a bit more on the line. And maybe we could be at 50 million, not 23 million a year. Or maybe we could have 1,000 properties and not 340 properties.
Well, I think this is actually mapping out what it is that you actually want, first of all. What do you want? And be specific about it. If I say to people, I mentor people. If you say to them, like, what do you want? They go, I want more money. They go, well, yeah, but how much? Like, what do you mean? Well, more money. Yeah, but what do you want? Tell me how much you want. What home do you want to live in? What car do you want to drive? What lifestyle do you want? How much is that going to cost? So if you're going to do that over the next 15 years, okay, you need £3 million. You only need £3 million. So no, I want more money. Be specific. Otherwise, what are you aiming at? And how do you know when you get there? Be specific. What do you want? And now you put the steps in to get that. But be fully aware of what it is you want. Now money isn't everybody's goal, but that's normally the first answer. And when you're helping people, your goals aren't their goal. You're not giving them your lifestyle. You're asking them for their. What do you want? My son, for example, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. My son, and I'm very proud of him, my oldest son Tom, he went, no, Dad, I just want a job, the semi-detached, new car every 3 years, 2 holidays a year, family. It's like, brilliant, son. He went, I don't want ambition. I've watched you. I don't want that stress. I've watched you all my life. I brought those kids up on my own.
Yeah.
He went, I don't, and I'm like, no, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So he's got, why I'm really pleased, he's got a clear goal of what it is that he's trying to achieve. And he's on his way. He's already proving to himself that the steps he has taken now in education and work is leading to that point.
Yeah.
And he is one of the happiest individuals I've come across in a while.
Right.
With a clear idea. You're still saying, I don't know, should I have had this, should I have had that? Unless we have a clear idea of what we want.
I guess
You're supposed to be interviewing me here, Rob. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Let me tell you what I learned a couple of months ago that I like. Right, I now only read one self-help book.
Is that the TV presenter who only wants to talk about himself coming out?
Yeah,
there?
that's it. Yeah. I've stopped reading loads of self-help books because I found them that they conflict with each other. Right, so I only do one a year now. But there was something. Where did I pick this up? And it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You get an A4 piece of paper, right, and you draw a cross through it. Right, you make quarters, and then in the first quarter you pick a date 3 years from now. And you go, right, what do you want? Right? Don't think about it. Don't think. The idea is just scribble it down like mad, right? Yeah. Now you can reflect. Now what have you got in that box, right? Now what have you got in that box? With that date in it for 3 years' time, right?
Okay.
What have you got in it? And now the next box on the right-hand side, you write a date 12 months from now. If you are going to achieve that 3-year goal, what's got to happen in the next 12 months?
Yeah.
Right? Now you can take your time, list what's got to happen. If those 3 years are going to be completed, what's got to happen in that year? Right. Now you go to the box on the left-hand side. If that's going to happen in a year, what's got to happen in the next quarter? Write it down.
Yeah.
Now this final bit here, you leave blank and you put post-it stickers on it.
Right.
Right? Every week. What 3 things have to happen this week to make sure that quarter happens, to make sure that year happens, to make sure that 3 years. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Can I share with you another story?
Yeah, please.
All right,
because you're being interviewed.
All right, thank you. writing down things that you want, and I don't know why it works. It just does. If you write down what you want and you keep it with you, and you constantly refer to it, I don't know how, but your brain just gets you there. I started doing Inside the Factories 10 years ago. Met Cherry Healy, my mate on Inside the Factory. Great girl, great fun to work with. We were talking about life and relationships and stuff. And she said, what do you want? I went, 5-bedroom house, a few acres of land, gravel drive, electric gates. She went, sorry? Sorry? I went, I want a 5-bedroom house. She went, why so specific? Well, I've got it written down. Look. 18 months later, we were in the Because if you just focus in all the time on what's the next, I don't know why. It's like a magic trick, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your big lessons from you said we all learn from our failures. You said you've had your own share of those lessons. What would be 3 big lessons you've had in life and your challenging times?
The biggest lesson is forecast all the time. Forecast a day, forecast a week, financial forecast. It might not go that way, but it's the same as driving and looking. If you're looking all the time, looking, you're not going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
If you are charting the direction of a ship, and you're constantly looking at its direction, you're not going to hit the iceberg. You're not going to hit dry land. You're not going to hit a shoal. You're going to keep on. The course might, but as long as you are constantly looking, and you are. An old accountant once said to me, I don't know why, but the more you study your figures, the better your figures get.
Right.
And what he meant by that is the more you're aware of them.
Yeah, a mentor said to me, you cannot master what you do not measure. I like that one.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you can measure it, you can control it.
Yeah.
That's right. So that, more than anything, is making sure that you've got up-to-date financial reporting and forecasting.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going? Where are you actually going?
Yeah.
Right, that's the lesson I've learned most of all. The other lesson I've learned recently, I love this. I've learned this on my own. Don't pay marketing companies and advertising companies. I've just learned this one. They're going to hate me. Don't pay them. I've sat across with marketing companies. I go, okay, how much are you going to charge me? I go, $4,000 a month. I go, okay. And what are you going to do? We're going to go and do this. We're going to do that. We're going to, not only that, we're going to put hundreds of thousands all over it, and a dirty great cherry and a flake. It's going to be brilliant. It's $4,000 a month.
They all talk like that, do they?
It's brilliant. Yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah. They're posher than that, but that's how I do it. Right. And I go, right, I've got a deal for you. I'm going to give you, because you reckon we could do this, I'm going to give you a cut of the revenue. I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to give you want $4,000 a month. I'm going to give you the ability to earn $16,000 a month. Okay? Well, we've got overheads. Oh, yeah, I know. But you said you want $4,000 a month to do this. And if it works, you'll get $16,000 a month. Now, either you believe it's going to work, then you're going to sign up for it.
Yeah.
Or you're not sure. And if you're not sure, you shouldn't be taking my money.
Yeah.
That's what I've now learned. That's the way to do things, I think, is don't pay people. Go, right, I'll give you a share.
Yeah.
It might prove expensive in the long run, but that's the new thing I've learned.
Yeah.
Share the love,
Yes.
rather than pay out.
Yeah.
Other lessons, just make friends with everybody. Try as hard as you can just to make friends with everybody, because you just don't know when you might need people. You just don't know. You might not need a favour. They may not want to give you a favour, but I'll tell you what, they're definitely not going to give you one if they don't like you.
Yeah.
So try and then learn from people.
Yeah.
You know, don't be ever embarrassed to say I don't understand. That's a mark of intelligence.
Right.
To say I don't understand, that's intelligence.
Yeah.
That's not a lack of intelligence. That's intelligence.
Yeah.
And again, only attack from a well-defended position. What can you afford to lose? The other lesson I've learned as well, because I make my money out of TV, businesses are far more enjoyable when you don't have to make a living from them.
Are they not then a hobby?
Maybe, but if
Yeah.
you don't have to earn a living from a business, it's far more enjoyable. When you're paying your electricity bill, when paying your mortgage depends on the success of the company, that's stress. When
Yeah.
you don't have to make a living from it, if you can keep a business profitable so that you're not putting money into it every month,
Yeah.
and you don't need to take money out of it, it's far more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, that was a great little section.
You reckon that's making yourself too comfortable? Do you reckon that would make you not push hard enough? Interesting.
Well, what I can say, that really got me Yeah, that was a little bit of a mind bender, because I think so many people are obviously trying to make a living out of the business that they're running. But when lockdown happened, both my business partner and I were able to not draw any money for 6 months out of the company because we built up the cash flow. And we rescued it or kept it going because we wanted to, not because we had to. And this makes enough money to fund itself, and this doesn't feel like a job.
There you go.
So.
But you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But it is still successful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to get yourself in that position, don't you, where you've got other income streams.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? How do you get yourself in a position where you don't need to rely on the income stream from the business that you love to do but don't have to do?
Stay in your job. Stay in your job and start a business.
Yeah.
We've got time. We always have time.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing with Gregg Wallace Health.
Yeah.
And that's not a link into that.
Well, no, we've got that. I'd like to talk about that.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what I've been doing. You know, I haven't packed in the TV in order to do the business. I want to do the business, but it's comfortable all the time that it's profitable. Even if that's a £5 a week, that's still profitable. It means you don't have to put money into it.
Yeah.
And then you can then learn lessons along the way without those lessons becoming incredibly stressful.
Why did you focus on your health? It was sort of, your early to mid 50s? You really took more of a focus on your health?
Yeah, well, actually, the business side of it was lockdown, right? I'm queuing. I did the shopping in lockdown because we've got my wife and a little boy and my daughter at the time, Libby, and my wife's parents all living in the same house.
Wow.
In Kent.
Yeah.
So I did the shopping and I made lunch every day. That was my contribution. And I couldn't work at all.
Yeah.
So I'm literally not earning a penny, not a penny. And I'm standing in a queue every day, or twice a week, with the same people. And I kept bumping into this lady who'd worked in fashion she was in her 60s, worked in fashion in the States, and she'd had a really interesting life. She said to me, online businesses are still doing well, Greg. Have you not got an online business? I was like, no. Right, what could I do? And at the time, there was loads of press interest in the weight I'd lost. And I thought, well, that's got to be.
Yeah.
If there's going to be an online business, where's the interest? Where's the public interest? It's in my health.
Yeah.
It's in my weight loss. That's what all the journalists keep asking me. So I wrote down a system of how I lost the weight.
And how did you lose the weight?
Don't ever diet. Don't ever diet. Prepare your own meals. There are 3 horsemen of the get fat apocalypse. Booze, I'm not giving that up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I have learned to manage it.
Yeah.
Right? Booze, takeaway and snacking. The 3 horsemen of the get fat apocalypse. You've got to manage the booze, which I've learned. My wife's Southern Italian. It's a Southern Italian approach to alcohol. I'll tell you about that if you like. I've learned that, alcohol management. I stopped takeaways, stopped snacking.
Right.
Just prepare yourself 3 meals a day.
And you lost how much?
5 stone.
Wow.
Still live, still go out, still enjoy a drink.
Yeah.
5 stone. It's not about exercise. If you go into any gym, you'll see overweight people and you'll see slim people. What do you think the difference is between them? It's what they eat.
Kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, it's what they eat. It's what they eat.
Yeah.
So my next, I want to, seriously, this is how ambitious I am, I want to now help the health of the nation because we are in a shocking state.
We are.
We are in a shocking state.
My wife, she just goes on about this all the time, the obesity and the lack of education in food and not knowing what's got sugar in and the takeaways you have and all the stuff that they've got in them. It is a shocker.
I made a quick study of this. We've been losing cookery skill at an alarming rate since the end of World War II, when all the labour-saving devices were coming in,
right,
where parents deliberately didn't pass on those cookery skills to their children because they thought they were passing on a life of drudgery because all of the advertising was labour-saving, labour-saving. You're too young to remember the Cadbury Smash robots.
Yes, yeah.
Who were laughing at the humans peeling potatoes and mashing them. Well, wasn't it easier to do what they did, which was pour boiling water into granules?
Right.
This has been going on for so long that we're now waking up and realising what we've done to ourselves as a nation. We have completely and utterly de-skilled ourselves as a nation, and we are now completely and utterly reliant on takeaways, snacking, and fast food and processed food. And it's having such an impact on our health that the NHS is creaking under the strain of it.
Right.
Do you know the biggest, I was chatting to a GP yesterday, and she gave me some paperwork, emailed me some stuff. She said, have a look at this. The biggest cause of cancer in the country, tobacco. The second, obesity.
Wow. God, how much must that be costing the NHS?
Heart disease, knee operations, hip operations.
Right, yeah.
Mate, it doesn't stop. It goes on and on. So what I plan to do is this. I've got friends inside the NHS, right? And I've now been collating all of the information about the health implications of obesity. I'm now going to do my damnedest with my friends in the NHS to get that costed up on a yearly basis, the cost to the NHS of obesity. I'm then going to go and make friends in education and ask them to cost up for me as best they can the idea of cookery education an hour a week from the age of 5 to the age of 15. And I'm going to present these 2 findings to the press.
Wow.
That's what I plan to do.
Yeah.
And go, right, this is what it's costing, this is what it will cost to educate the next generations in cookery. You know, nobody knows how to cook.
No.
People say to me, I don't have time. And I don't want to embarrass anybody, but when I hear that, I know they don't know how to.
Yeah.
Because I know it takes 3 minutes to grill a fish. I know it takes 5-6 minutes to grill a pork chop. I know it takes 30 seconds to empty a tin of new potatoes into a pan and heat them up. I know it takes 3 minutes to put frozen spinach into a tub and put some butter into it. I know all of these things. I know it takes 4 or 5 minutes to grill a sirloin steak. But if you don't know, you just think it takes ages.
Yeah.
It takes 30 seconds to pour stock into couscous.
Right.
It takes like 4 minutes to cook pasta out of it. I mean, it takes 5 minutes to make a tomato sauce. I mean, but if you don't know these things, and people don't know these things.
Yeah.
Now, it's typical, not unusual, it's typical for people to leave their house in the morning having no idea what their breakfast is going to be, no idea what their lunch is going to be, and no idea what their dinner is going to be. So, they'll grab a croissant on the way to work. They're putting loads of calories in their body, but they're not filling themselves up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So then about mid-morning, they're hungry. So they might grab from one of these snack bars that look like healthy. They're putting more calories in their body, they're still not filling themselves up. Come lunchtime, they're really hungry. They're hitting supermarket with a meal deal, which is neither a meal nor a deal. And they're having a sandwich and a bag of crisps. They're frying tons more calories into their body without filling themselves up. They're now hungry afternoon. They're snacking. Now it's biscuits and it's bars of chocolate. More calories, not filling themselves up. They've got no idea what dinner's going to be. They phone for a takeaway. And the problem goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's got to be stopped.
Yeah.
Because as a country, we can't deal with it. The USA has got a bigger obesity issue than we have, but they haven't got a National Health Service. So as an individual, you can make yourself as unwell as you want because you have to pay for it.
Mm.
Over here, we're all paying for it.
Yeah.
We're all picking up the cost.
Yeah.
Wow, I am on a mission here, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. So you've got an app, haven't you?
Yeah, it's called Gregg Wallace Health. And
is it on the App Store?
Actually, it's a website that looks like an app on your phone.
Yeah.
So just Google
Gregg Wallace Health.
Gregg Wallace Health. And what we do more than anything else, and it's so normal, it should be so normal, it's radical. We basically teach people to cook.
Right.
We've got 500 recipes, breakfast, lunches and dinners. I've been mentoring people free of charge for 3 years. My biggest success is a 10.5 stone loss, a lady called Di from South Wales.
Wow.
She's like a pin-up girl now on Gregg Wallace Health.
Yeah.
She now mentors other people.
Right.
Okay. I did it for 3 years free of charge because I just wanted to learn what the issues were.
Yeah.
And when I mentor people, I say to them, before I ask what they eat, I go, tell me about your life. Because all the time their life is chaos, they'll never... You go, so what? They go, you bet you're busy. Busy. Everybody believes they're busy than everybody else.
Yeah.
Busy. Busy? Oh, mate, I'm busy. Go, how many hours? 8 hours a day. Well, that's busy. 5 days a week. Travel, half hour each way. Well, that's busy. I told you I'm busy. Hey, it's mad. Do you get 8 hours sleep? Well, I'd like to. Well, let's imagine you do. Right, okay. So you've got 8 hours work, hours travelling, 8 hours sleeping, 17 hours. Yeah, I'm busy. What's happening to the other 7, mate? What's happening to the other 7 hours? Well, you've got enough time in there to make food.
Yeah.
And shop.
Yeah.
And I say to them, would you give me 10 minutes at night to make your breakfast the next day? Yeah, all right then. Seriously? Yeah, seriously. Would you give me 15 minutes in the morning to make your lunch to take to work? Well, I don't know, I'm busy. Well, do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to go to bed half an hour earlier?
Yeah.
So you can give me 15 minutes in the morning. Will you give me 20 minutes in the evening to make your dinner? Well, yeah. I was like, okay. And we're off. As soon as we do that, we're done. Also, it was an accident. I can't claim credit for it. Everybody who's done this has saved a fortune on their shopping. You touched on the cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
Everybody who's followed that plan saves a fortune on their shopping. If you meal plan, you go to the shops, you only buy the ingredients you need for those meals. You reduce food waste down to nothing, which helps the environment. Imagine a shopping bill with no food waste. Imagine a shopping bill with no snacks. Imagine a shopping bill with no takeaways. The savings are just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Absolutely extraordinary. I am coming soon to save the world.
You are.
Your grandchildren are going to drive past Trafalgar Square one day and there's going to be a statue of Gregg Wallace in a toga holding a pineapple. Because I've saved the nation.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission to save the nation. I haven't taken a penny out of this business in 3 years. I just really want to help. Really, really want to help people.
Yeah.
And if we're going to help people, we've got to teach them to cook.
Yeah.
And once they learn these skills and they learn how easy it is to cook and cook healthy, we're on our way.
And Gregg Wallace.
Gregg Wallace Health.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really glad we talked about that. I mean,
Gregg
that's part of what's got us connected, isn't it?
Yeah, Gregg Wallace Health. I've just come back from 2 weeks in France, right? And I was looking around at all the people, my wife as well. She said, it's not a social stereotype. She said, every Frenchman's carrying a baguette. They actually are carrying a baguette. Everybody's carrying a baguette. And we were talking, and I was talking to friends as well, saying, how come they haven't got an obesity issue? Look at what they're eating. Look at what they're consuming. They're one of the biggest consumers in the world of animal fats and alcohol. But if you look, there's no takeaways. If you look, no one's munching on a chocolate bar. If you look, no one's in the street with a packet of crisps.
Yeah.
They eat breakfast, the whole country shuts down for lunch, and they have dinner. They're eating 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
It's the same as happening in Italy, the same as happening in Spain.
I guess you learned all this from a whole life in the food industry.
Yeah. You have to just eat 3 meals a day. And it's so simple. It's so simple.
Why do we not know this?
Because we don't want to change our lifestyles. We get caught up in the habit of the snack culture and the takeaway culture, and we think it makes us happy, and we can't imagine a world without it. But what I try and convince people is there is a whole world out there without snacks and without takeaways, with a healthy outlook on life and a healthy feel that is so much better. I go, look at me and look at other slim people. Do you honestly imagine we're walking around every day unhappy that we can't have a chocolate bar on a sofa? Because we can if we choose. We're choosing not to, and our life is not unhappy. Yeah. Do you think slim people are constantly miserable because they're not eating crisps? Come on, wake up and smell the hummus.
Yeah.
There is a whole life out there that is much, much better. If what is between you and a body that you'd be proud of on the beach is a packet of crisps and a chocolate bar, come on, you're selling yourself short here.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a disservice. There is a world of healthy eating, food that you will enjoy eating, that isn't expensive, that isn't difficult, that you can do. I promise you.
Was there like one big change of something you loved and then you've got rid of and now something you love because you've tried every food that exists on the world?
Yeah, like big fry-ups.
So you used to love and you
I used to like smash into like bacon, egg, chips, bubble, like free sugars in the tea. And now, right, 1/2 kilo pot of high protein yogurt. 1/2 kilo. Mate, it's like a football.
Yeah.
1/2 kilo, handfuls of oats, tablespoons of maple syrup and fruit. And that's a big, massive breakfast.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Takeaways.
Yeah.
Just doesn't exist in my world. Yeah, the only takeaway is kebab. I never understand why kebabs get a bad rap. I think it's because working class people eat them.
Right.
I mean, I'm not talking about the doner.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. But any nutritionist will tell you, right? You go to a kebab shop, charcoal grill,
Yeah.
No fat. You're not frying anything. Right? Charcoal grill.
Yeah.
You've got lean meat, lean chicken, or lean lamb on skewers. Right.
Yeah.
Then you're putting it in bread without any oil, and you're putting a load of fresh veg and salad in there.
Yeah.
It's like the healthiest thing you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
So kebabs is the takeaway if I have anything.
Yeah. What would you say is most misunderstood about you? Do you think, is this passion most misunderstood about you?
I think what's most misunderstood about me is I've been playing up to this cheeky chappy greengrocer because that's what the television has wanted for over 20 years. And actually, I don't recognise the Gregg Wallace in that character. I don't recognise the Gregg Wallace that the newspapers write about. And that's what people have wanted from me for the last 20 years. And it's beginning to change.
So if you don't recognise that character of you, what is the character of you?
My old mate Charlie X, I did Radio 4 with, he went, Gregg Wallace, soccer hooligan. He went, the man sits at home drinking fine wines, reading history books. Things people don't know about me. I was a single parent. I got custody of my kids, brought them up on my own. I've got 2 rugby coaching badges. I'm a very passionate amateur historian. I've just been on The Weakest Link. I won that. I went on The Chasers. I won that. Mate, I'm a massive bookworm. You can have a blue collar accent and not be a car dealer.
Now that I've got you, Greg, we've never done this before. We've never done a round on rating celebrity chefs. Would you be the first? Okay, great. So first off, who's the most underrated celebrity chef in your opinion?
John Turode, my mate John Turode.
Right.
Mate, he never did fine dining. In fact, he doesn't like it. Big egalitarian dining rooms at a time when the outlook of dining was changing.
Yeah.
Quaglino's, Mezzo, and Smith's.
Yeah.
Down in Smithfield. Yeah, he's a cook for the everyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows big catering.
Right.
Not the fine dining, not the Michelin, but he was at the time when Conran was changing the face of eateries in the UK, and John Turode was a big part of that.
And in your opinion, the most overrated?
Well, funny enough, I'm a big fan of Delia, but Delia's never run a kitchen in her life. So Delia's not a chef. Nigella's not a chef. So people think they're chefs.
Right.
The hairy bikers aren't chefs. They cook on television, but they've never run a kitchen.
And what's the difference?
A chef knows how to run a brigade in a professional kitchen.
Right.
Right? Just because you can cook well at home doesn't mean you know how to run a professional kitchen.
Right. How did they get the gigs then? How did they get the big...
Because they're good cooks, but they're not chefs.
Right.
Okay, a chef means that you work in a professional kitchen.
Yeah.
That's not what Delia does, and that's not what Nigella does. So, my mate Michel Roux Jr. at the Gavroche, an amazing cook, but if you go into the Gavroche any one night, you won't see him cooking anything. He's running the kitchen.
Yeah. Right.
I remember when Raymond Blanc had a heart attack, and him and a journalist who obviously completely misunderstood each other. And the journalist says to me, well, who's now cooking now you're not in the kitchen? And Raymond Blanc went, it's the same people who cook when I am in the kitchen.
Gordon Ramsay.
Amazing.
Yeah? What's great about him?
Oh, mate. 3 Michelin stars for over 20 years at Hospital Road. Mate, that's very few people have managed to achieve that.
Yeah.
And if you look at his background, you look at his education in cook, mate, he's worked in some serious places.
Yeah.
That guy seriously knows his stuff.
Right.
That is one proper chef trained in classic French cooking.
Yeah. We've been trying to get Gordon on the show for a while.
Mate,
Yeah.
I mean, that is one proper chef. No two ways about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, big TV personality, one of the most famous chefs in the world, you might say. But
Broke America as well, didn't he?
yeah, but that's a proper chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mate, 3 Michelin stars for over 20 years, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Jamie Oliver.
Great guy, honestly believes he can change the world, really does want to change the world. Again, this is one of the guys that's I don't think he's ever been head chef of a professional kitchen.
Right.
Because he came famous when he was just one of many chefs at the Fabulous River Cafe. And there was a girl called Pat Llewellyn who did the Two Fat Ladies.
Yeah.
She noticed him And so she did the Naked Chef with him.
What do you think what did people love about him, do you think? How did
Accessibility to food. It was him and Pat Llewellyn together. Accessibility to food.
What does that mean?
Before that, we thought that good food could only be done by people in chef's outfits with great big white hats.
Right.
And it was something that none of us could really do.
Okay.
It was out of our reach.
Yeah.
And what he did as a young man showed that no, you can do quality food at home. Look, I'll show you. He made cooking accessible to a whole new, and he also brought a whole generation of younger people an interest in food that didn't exist before because it was an old person's thing.
Yeah.
He was one of the people that took food away from the middle classes and gave it to everybody.
Right, yeah.
We will look back in 100 years' time and go, that was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
That was absolutely groundbreaking.
Marco Pierre White.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon worked for him. Marco Pierre White, l'enfant terrible. Yeah, I mean...
Terrible child.
Child. Yeah, I never ate at Harvey's, I regret to say. I put some fruit and veg in there when I was a greengrocer. Again, groundbreaking. Again, at the time when we were as a nation, taking more of an interest in food. Yeah. I'd like to see him back in a kitchen. I'd like to see him back in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I really would. Yeah.
Who have we not rated that we should rate? Who's missing off that list?
Michel Roux Jr. at the Gavroche.
Right.
Mate, if you don't want to eat the food, take it home and snog it. Proper.
Where'd you get these lines from?
I don't know. Proper classic cookery. I've never met a group of people so gifted in making me drunk and fat. I mean, I've got a couple of Gavroche stories I want to share with you.
Please.
So I met a girl, and I didn't want to take her there for a first date because I thought it was too posh. So I took her to Scott's, but I said to Michelle, listen, if this date goes well, can I bring her in for dessert? Because that is so flash. But I don't want to bring her here as a first date. If the date at Scott's goes well, can I walk round here and have dessert here? Because that would be such a... But I don't want to take the mickey, chef. Do you mind? No, come on, let's meet this young woman who's driving you crazy, right? So we sit in there and we have dessert. Emmanuel was the restaurant manager at the time. Came up, he said, Mr. Wallace, very good to see you, sir. Took an envelope out of his pocket with Mr. Wallace written on it and put it on the table. I opened it up and there was about 70 quid in cash. And the girl I was with, I may or may not have married her, I can't remember now.
There's a story about that, isn't there, Greg?
So she said, what's that money? What's that money? I went, I honestly don't know. She went, he's just giving you an envelope full of money. I went, yeah, I know. She went, well, what is it? I went, no, I honestly... She went, you really don't know? I went, I really have no idea what this is. So he came back, I said, Emmanuel? He went, oh, Mr. Wallace, last time you were here, sir, you lunched rather well. I was like, right. He went, you had bets with me and other French members of my staff over the outcome of the Six Nations rugby, sir. I picked up your winnings. So 3 weeks before, I was drunk in there. Drunk in there having lunch, having bets with the French staff on the outcome of the rugby.
Right.
I'll give you one other story about it. Right.
I hope it was England you bet on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the Gavroche one night with my beautiful wife Anna, my son Tom, his girlfriend Georgia, a couple of years ago now. And as we walked, there was two guys in blue suits, serious-looking guys. I thought, what are they doing outside the restaurant? They're not smoking. So what are they doing? I went, good evening. They looked at me, good evening. Went into the bar. Chef come up. Went, all right, chef. Big hug and a kiss. He went, behave yourself tonight. I was like, I said, don't I always? He went, mate, do you like a drink? You can be a bit loud. I went, who have you got down there, Michelle? Who's down there? He went, no. I went, who's down there? He went, no. I went down into the restaurant. There was hardly anybody in there. There's only about 4 or 5 tables. I was like, what on earth is happening here? What's that? The two guys in the blue suits came down the stairs, the restaurant, looked around, nodded back the stairs, and Her Majesty the Queen and Prince Philip came down the stairs on a Thursday night, like a little date night.
Did you talk to them?
I stood up.
Yeah.
I stood up and I said, Michelle, should I go over there and tell him the story about my Uncle Ted down in Margate? Or should I go and play the spoons? No, mate. You don't go to any of that table.
No.
Extraordinary, right?
Yeah.
Oh, while we're on Her Majesty the Queen,
yeah.
because I was on her last honours list and I got my MBE.
Yes, congratulations.
Right? I want to tell you a story, right? So I go up to Windsor Castle with my Anna, and what an amazing occasion. right? Amazing occasion. Everybody was really, really posh, but nobody was snobby. Like, they were just absolutely lovely, but it was incredibly posh. And twice I said this. They went, Mr. Wallace, I said, this is my lovely wife, Anna. Hello, Mrs. Wallace, very good to meet you, madam. Very exciting day for Greg, for the whole family. I said, listen, because Anna's here. We don't mind going last. If anybody don't turn up, can Anna have a medal? They went, sorry? Well, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be bravery in the field, or in the community. We went, I see, no, I'm sorry, miss.
Did she get one? No.
We'll go last. If anyone don't turn up, she'll hoover up the spare medals. When they announced I was going to get one, I downloaded a fanfare of trumpets onto my mobile phone, and for a whole morning played it before I walked into any room in the house.
Right. And how was it? How did you find out?
It's so funny.
Did you get a tip off that you were going to get the letter?
Yeah, I got a letter. Got a letter saying that I was being considered.
Ah, and how long ago was that? Well, how long was that before?
Months.
Oh.
So I thought it had gone away. And then my agent phoned me and said, you've got it.
Would you regard that as one of your greater achievements?
I think it's quite an extraordinary journey to go from council estate in Peckham and leaving school, thrown out of school with no qualifications, to getting an MBE. I think it's quite I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. And do you think about life beyond Masterchef? How does that make you feel?
Yeah. I want to build a health and weight loss business. That's what I don't want to give up telly, but that is my passion. And it's an enormous marketplace. And we do have a problem. We really do have a problem. So no one minds you making a living while you're solving a problem, I don't think.
No.
And I'm just imagining if I could have a world where Gregg Wallace Health was like an online health department store, that you came in, or like a shopping mall, you came in and it like had a sign saying you are here, and then what department do you want? And how many experts can I pull in from around the country? Can I have a department that's for sleep? Can I have one that's for, we've already got one that's for exercise. I've already got one that's weight loss. Can I have one now that's physio? Can I have one that's mental health? You know, what departments can I get by bringing in these experts that want to reach a wider audience? That's my dream. And I also may start campaigning for cookery and food education in schools. Because I can't see any other answer to tackling the nation's obesity. I can't see another answer.
No.
Than the cookery education.
Yeah.
And life after Masterchef. I think Masterchef will go. I think what will probably happen is that as I get older, I think the competition and the programme will keep going. I think as I get older, I'll probably be sort of brought out as a guest judge, like once or twice a series as I get older. But
doesn't scare you moving beyond Masterchef?
No. But because I don't believe the end of Masterchef would be the end of telly for me.
Right.
You know, I've been involved with some successful programs for a long time. My reputation inside the industry is good. I've been on lots of successful programs. Over the years, and turn up on time, do as you're told. Right? And I enjoy telly.
We do a quick fire round on Disruptors. You up for it? Final round, quick fire. What is the most overrated food, according to Gregg Wallace?
Can I have a drink instead?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Champagne. No, I don't like it. And nobody ever asks you whether you like it or not. They just send it to you as presents. They send you champagne without. You go to a restaurant, they want to look after you, have some champagne. They don't even ask you if you like. Imagine you go to a restaurant, go, there you go, bowl of blancmange. Oh, you don't like blancmange? I didn't bother asking. Yeah, bowl of blancmange, there you go, mate. Bowl of blancmange and a wafer, there you go.
Blancmange was the worst dessert we got as kids at school.
Was it?
Yeah, that and rice pudding, the sloppy rice pudding.
I love rice pudding. Ugh. Yeah, you know, champagne I think is overrated. Wagyu steak. Yeah, too much fat.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either.
Okay, and then the most underrated food, in your opinion?
A potato. Where would we be? I mean, mate, mash, chips, roasts, saute. I mean, where would we be without the humble spud? Do you know why it's called a spud? The spud was the original three-pronged fork used in Ireland to dig them up.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know that
I've never thought of that.
No potatoes in British food until we discovered the Americas. No tomatoes in Spanish and Italian food till we find the Americas. No chilies in Indian or Thai food till the Portuguese take them there from the New World.
Right.
I love food journeys.
Yeah.
I love food journeys.
Would you rather have 1 million cash or 1 million engaged followers on your social channels? Which one would you take and
Cash!
why? Why?
And I'm going to count it before I go.
But how many, a million people, you know, that's a lot of people that you could positively impact.
Yeah, but you still have to monetize them if money is your goal, and money is
Yeah.
still my goal. You
Yeah.
have to monetize them. Could you get £1 from each of them? Maybe you'd have to put some work in where the
Yeah.
£1 million cash is there.
Yeah.
It's there. Use that to generate more money.
Yes. Okay. Can money buy happiness?
No, but it beats the pants off a bingo. No, it can't. No, it can't. It most certainly can't. But
what
it can make unhappiness easier.
Yes. And maybe there's not enough money that increases unhappiness. I mean,
wow.
you know, think of how expensive it is to live now. I mean, imagine if you earned, you know, 28,000 a year as a fully fledged adult and you wanted to put your kids through a good school and stuff. You can't, can you? That's
No.
hard.
No, but that's not to say that child would get a better education privately.
Yeah, true. My wife would probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
something to
not.
say
It's
about
not.
that.
Yeah, not necessarily so.
No.
You know, do you have a more romantic meal in a £300 a head restaurant, or eating a bun in your hand on the coast on
Yeah.
a rock on the coast at sunset?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's this. It's this. If you can afford to eat £300 a night dinner, but you choose to eat the bun, great.
Right.
If you're eating the bun and you can't afford then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily need the money, but being able to do it and choosing not to.
Yeah.
But no, money doesn't make you happier. But a lack of it can put a serious strain on you. A serious strain on you. That doesn't answer the question.
No, it does. It's perfect.
Right.
What would you perceive as your biggest mistake?
Marriages. Over the
Oh
years.
man, this is going to change now from quick fire to investigation, if you don't mind.
No.
Yeah.
I've been married 4 times, and the emotional cost and the financial cost is just enormous.
Right.
I wish, yeah. So I think, the marriages have been mistakes, I think.
And what would one do differently?
Well, it's difficult.
Because didn't you get married again? Are you married again?
I've been with Anna for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that one's not a mistake.
It's really,
then.
it's really difficult because obviously I've got 2 children through my second
Yeah.
marriage. So I can't say I wish they'd never have happened because I wouldn't have had maybe the first and the third.
Right.
I think 2 marriages would have been all right. I think
Yeah.
the first and the third. I should have just had 2 and 4.
Right. And was there anything about you? Were you a bit?
No,
Yeah.
it's
No.
interesting.
Yeah. Go on.
It's interesting this. I say this a lot. I'm no different to how I've been with all four. I honestly believe love to be nothing more than a game of chance. And I just got really, really lucky with Anna. Really, really fortunate with Anna in that we didn't know it at the time, found out quite quickly. What I was looking for, she had to offer. What she was looking for, I had to offer. And it was just a perfect meeting but what's the chances of that happening?
Well, you did it on your 4th try. So.
Yeah. When people say, well, you have to work at a marriage, I think, no, you don't. It should be the most natural thing in the world. Now I've experienced, I don't want to come across as Peter Perfect,
Yeah.
but I've never met anybody like Anna. It's the easiest thing in the world. Once you just take it for granted that person's really on your side and is working to make you happy, and then you give of yourself in the same way without questioning, comfortable in the knowledge that it's okay, it'll be reciprocated. When you both start giving and caring in that amount, it's just extraordinary.
So how does one find that first time round and not 4th time round then?
I think it's a game of luck.
Right.
It's a game. This is what I mean. I don't think you can work at it. I don't think you. I fell out with a previous agent Because as I was dating girls and they started going to the newspapers, and she went, well, you need to find a nice girl. Great, thank you. How do I do that? Well, a nice one. Yeah, okay. Because I wasn't actually looking for a bad one. So, you've got to make sure. What? Are you suggesting I get them to fill in a questionnaire? Are you suggesting I have them followed by a private investigator? What do you...
That is the most stupid thing to say, isn't it? It's just dawned on me. Yeah. Just get a nice one.
Find a nice one.
Yeah.
What, you mean stop looking for bad ones, you mean? Yeah. Thanks. I was looking down the bad wife aisle, the bad girlfriend aisle all the time. Thank you for redirecting me. I said, you can't find love without dating. I can't separate TV's Gregg Wallace from Gregg Wallace.
Yeah.
Unless I go to a country, a non-English speaking country where I can't communicate with them, where they've got no idea who Gregg Wallace is, they're going to know who I am. I can't. And when you're dating, it's a really dangerous game if you're a celebrity. You would be better off having a series of one-night stands than you are having a short to mid-term relationship. A one-night stand doesn't know anything about you. They can't go to the papers with anything else but I met him and slept with him.
Right, yeah.
Somebody you spend 3 months with knows a dangerous amount about you to take to the newspapers. It's a really scary game. It's a really, really scary game.
Yeah, wow.
It's an extraordinarily scary game, but
fourth time lucky.
Mate, I just got, what can I say?
Yeah.
You know, I was looking back, funny enough, over the press headlines when I met Anna. All shocked, horror. She's 22 years younger than me.
Right.
Will he never learn? Not again. And now let's wait for 6 months. 10 years later. 10 years later, me and Anna, little boy, 2 rescue dogs, her mum and dad living there.
Yeah.
We've been together 10 years. We've been married for 7 years.
Yeah.
All those press headlines, just all those negative headlines.
Yeah.
And they were wrong. I was showing them to Anna, we were giggling.
Yeah. What would you regard as your biggest regret?
I regret not taking better care of my health when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I regret having to radically change everything later in life. And I regret being overweight and unhappy for so much of my adult life. Too drunk, too overweight, too unhappy. I regret not finding health and fitness at a younger age. Because if you'd have kind of started at 16 and just, it would have become, because in order to be healthy and of a good weight, you have to learn a new routine.
Yes.
And that routine's a happy routine, but you have to learn it. If you'd have carried it on from 15, you'd have never been any different. So I regret that.
Yeah. Sounds like that regret is going to go into the future mission. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to save the world. Coming soon to save the world.
Yeah. What's your most brutal life lesson?
The press stories. Like just hide. Just hide away. In my position, don't give an opinion on anything. Don't say anything. Don't do anything.
Really?
Don't go anywhere.
Wow.
Just hide. Everybody's got a mobile phone. I live a life mic'd up all the time. All the time. It's just such... Imagine living in a world where everybody is listening to everything you're saying, waiting for you to make a mistake. It's just so... It never was like this when I started. No,
but you're still the most, probably, and I'm sure Harry will agree, the most enthusiastic person.
Yeah.
Do you think we've had anyone as enthusiastic as Gregg on the show? Can you think of... Yet you've still you're not beaten down by the world. You're not jaundiced. You're not angry. You're not bitter.
No. But I regret some of the press stuff I've done.
Well, thankfully, I don't know. We didn't go research that far.
Some of the press headlines over the years, I regret. You think when you start, no one's going to be interested in me, stupidly. And also, what happens is, and I've seen other people fall foul of this. When you start making TV programs. Those TV programs want you to do press to highlight the show that's coming up, to promote the show that's coming up. So they stick you in front of skilled, old, gnarled journalists who are looking for a headline.
Right.
Who start asking questions that they're just simply looking for a headline on.
Right.
And you, who are keen, just talk to them because you think they're decent. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake.
So how would you approach that differently with what you know now?
Mate, I've learnt it now. I've learnt it. So what you do is don't try and avoid the question because it will come back. Answer the question, but quickly spin it onto what you want to talk about.
Right.
So I'll go on there and I'll be promoting the new series of Masterchef, and they go, well, let's talk about your 4 marriages, shall we, Mr. Wallace? Your 4 marriages. You go, right. Do you know what? That was a mistake. You're absolutely right. I'll tell you what wasn't a mistake. The day I agreed to do Masterchef, mate, because I have loved it. Whatever they come at you, answer it, quickly move it.
Yeah.
Quickly move it back, because they can't ask the same question again.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about and scared about the future?
I'm excited about the journey into trying to help more and more of the population get healthier. I'm nervous of getting older and leaving Anna and Sid, because I'm 59 this year and my little boy is 4 years old and my wife is 22 years younger than me. So I'm definitely going to be leaving them behind. So I'm scared of that. I want to make sure, because my little boy's very autistic as well at the moment, non-verbal. I want to make sure that there is enough of a security, comfort blanket for them for by the time that I'm not there to keep on helping them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of. So I'm excited about the future and the future of helping people. I'm scared of leaving Anna and Sid behind and them not being cared for.
This show is called Disruptors. This is the final question. What does that word mean to you? Disruptors, disruptive. What does that phrase mean?
It doesn't have to be negative. I mean, disruptive sounds like it's negative. We've learned over the last few years, it doesn't have to be. It's taking a different approach to a subject and doing it differently.
Like maybe you're going to be disrupting the health industry.
I'm going to be I'm anti-diet. I'm getting people healthier without them dieting.
Right.
I really don't like diets, not in any way. So what you're doing...
That's a good sales pitch.
Yeah. You're bringing weight loss. You're disrupting the diet culture by bringing weight loss in without dieting.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Right.
You're disrupting. Disrupting is now a positive thing. It's looking at the traditional ways of doing things and finding a new way of doing it. Technology is moving so quickly, so quickly. Who knows what the landscape's going to look like in 12 months' time.
So I would really encourage everyone to go and find Gregg on... I follow you on Gregg Wallace Health. And then your main social media channel, you do your morning lives, don't you, on Instagram?
Yeah, 7 a.m. On my own Instagram, Gregg Wallace, 7 o'clock, chat every single weekday morning at 7 o'clock around health and fitness and food. I love that.
This has been so much fun. I'm really glad we did this. I know also these things aren't easy for you to do because of, so I just want to say thank you so much for doing it.
No, it's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. And I want to really support you on your course. So we'll keep talking.
Cheers, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Gregg. It's a wrap.
If you want me to cook up more celebrity chefs on this show, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on.